Welcome back to Cybrosys. Today we are tackling credit notes and refunds in Odoo 18's accounting module. A credit note is a crucial document used to correct mistakes on invoices, process customer returns, or account for damaged goods. While debit notes are less common, they also play a role in tracking adjustment. If you need to legally cancel, refund, or modify a validated invoice in Odoo, this video is for you. Let's dive in. First of all, you have to dive in to the accounting module. Okay, most commonly you will create a credit note directly from the invoice. So you need to correct, go to the accounting. This is the accounting module. And in the accounting, you have a menu called customers, under which you can find the menu invoices. So you can open the invoices and then find the relevant invoice for which you are going to issue the credit note. Okay, so you have a lot of invoices here. So if you are creating a new sale order and an invoice corresponding to that particular sale order, then you have to find that here in the invoices. And then once the invoice is open, you have to click the credit note button. So I'll just open one randomly. You have this paid one. Okay, so you have this smart button or simply a button which is called credit note. Okay, so if you click on the credit note, what happens is that this opens the credit note window. Here you will need to fill in the reason. Okay, the reason that should be displayed on the credit note. So you have to be clear over here. Then you can also update the journal as well as the reversal date if needed. Now you have two key options. If you want to want a partial refund or need to modify the credit note before validation. So I'll just give the name or just the reason as damage. Okay. So as I said before, if you want a partial refund or need to modify the credit note before validation, you have to click on the reverse. Okay, so this creates a draft credit note. If you click on reverse, it will be creating a draft credit note. So here you can see the draft one. Okay, pre-filled with the original invoice data, and you can adjust the product quantities or lines, and then you can click confirm. So any adjustments can be done over here, and then you can click on the confirm. So if you want to automatically create, validate and reconcile the credit note and also create a new draft invoice from the original, you can click reverse and create invoice. Okay, so I'll just go back. Okay, now if you click on the credits note, you have this option which is reverse and create invoice. Okay, so this is useful for reissuing a corrected invoice immediately. So if I just give another name, damage, and click on reverse and create invoice. So what happens is that a draft invoice can be, a new invoice can be created and confirmed. Okay, so the next step, you can create a customer credit note from scratch. Okay, let me show you how. So while creating from an invoice is common, okay, you can also create a credit note from scratch. So like y'all know how to do it in the invoice section and all. So for this, what you have to do is let's go back to invoices. So if it's reversed and all, you can see it's reversed right now. Okay, that and all can be seen here. If you go to customers, you have a direct option which is the credit notes. So click on that and then you can see the credit notes which have been created. Now we created this one right now. Okay. Now for creating a new one, click on new. So you will see the area where you have to fill out the form. Okay. So it is like it follows the exact same process as completing a regular invoice. Okay. And I'll give you a quick tip, that is Odoo's credit note sequence usually start with an R followed by the invoice document number, like RINV, and the number goes on. Okay. So if you all want to issue a customer debit note, now from here you can actually create a credit note directly. You can add a customer from here. Okay. You can add the product. So I'm going to add a product. Okay. And then confirm it. So now it's a posted one. So okay, there is some sort of GST number, API verified problems and all. So let's go back. So the only thing which you should have in your mind is that you can directly create a credit note from the credit note option under the customers tab. Okay, now let's take a look at the debit notes for customers. Now these are less frequent but important for certain adjustments. So here also you have to go to that is in the accounting module, you have to go to the customers and then you have to choose the invoices. Then you have to select the desired invoices. Okay, so I'm choosing both of these invoices. So you can choose multiple invoices and then click on the actions. If you go to the actions, you can see create debit note. Okay, so in the create debit note window, if you click on that, here comes the window. Here you have to specify the reason for the debit note. Okay, then you have to update the use specific journal. This is the use specific journal. You have to update it from here if necessary only. Okay, and debit note date as well. So both of them, they are not mandatory fields, but still you can update it from here. Now you have to make sure to enable the copy lines option if you want to pull the original invoices line and then click create debit note. Okay, so for this, what you have to do is only when you enable this, you can take the lines of the invoice. Okay, so finally on the new debit note, I'll show you what to do. Now you have to, I'll just give the name as new and click on create debit note. Okay, so you can see debit notes and the debit note which has been created. Okay, so finally on the new debit note, you can update the product and the quantity. So if you just click on this, you can see the products here, you can see the quantity. This can be updated from here. Okay, so you can also create a debit note directly from the invoice by clicking the gear icon and selecting debit note. So I'll show that one also. If you go to the invoices and you choose one. Okay, so here you have the gear icon. So from the gear icon also you can create a debit note. Okay, so that's how you do it. Then like recording vendor refunds. Now let's talk about the refund section. Okay, so recording vendor refunds or vendor credit notes follows a very similar process to customer credit notes. You can do it directly from the corresponding vendor bill. For that, you have to go to accounting, then you have to go to the vendors and then open the bills. So that's the refund section. Okay, so currently we don't have any bills over here. So you can open a relevant vendor bill. Okay, so if you want to, I'll just create a new bill over here. Let's choose a vendor, Ronnie, add a product. Okay, the quantity I'm changing it to 5. And you have to choose a bill date also. Don't forget. Okay, now I'm saving it, confirming it. So it's a posted one. It's a paid bill. Okay, now go back. Here we have a bill right now. Okay, so from here, okay, you can choose or open the relevant vendor bill. Let's open the relevant vendor bill. And from here, if you click on credit note button, it comes. So alternatively, to record a vendor refund from scratch, what you can do in case of like credit note, in case of purchases or bills, we call it as refund, right? So here also you can do that directly from here, or else you can go to the vendors tab, and there you have this thing called the refunds. So click on refund and then you can create a new refund by clicking on the new button. Okay, so like recording debit notes from vendors also mirrors the process for issuing debit notes to customers. So here, as I said before, refund can be directly created from here, where you can see the exact thing of as that of creating a bill. Okay, so that's the refund. Now, debit note for vendors. Okay, so for that you have to go to the accounting modules vendor menu, and there you can choose the bill. So you can choose the desired bill, and if you go to the actions, what you can see there, you can see create debit note there. So click on that, and from here you can do the exact same thing. The only thing is that there's a difference in the name. That's it. The things, that is the procedure which you're doing, is exactly the same. So just like with customer invoices, you can also create a debit note directly from the vendor bill form. That is the vendor bill form view by clicking the gear icon. So this is a bill. This is the gear icon. Hey, here you can see the debit note. From there also you can actually create a debit note for the vendor bills. That is the refund. Okay. So finally, it is important to understand what happens behind the scenes. So when you create a debit, when you create a debit or a credit note from an invoice or bill, Odoo automatically generates a reverse journal entry. So this entry effectively cancels out the financial impacts of the original invoices journal items. So, for instance, if your original invoice debited accounts receivable and credited sales, the credit notes journal entry would credit account receivable and debit a sales correction account, effectively reversing the transaction. This ensures your financial records remain accurate and balanced. And there you have it, a complete guide to managing credit notes and refunds in Odoo 18's accounting module. Mastering these documents is crucial for maintaining accurate financial records, handling customer satisfaction, and ensuring compliance. If this video helped you navigate credit and debit notes, please give it a like, share it with your team, and subscribe for more essential Odoo tutorials. What other Odoo accounting process would you like us to simplify next? Let us know below in the comments. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and see you guys in the next video.